296 McMinnville Lawn and Garden, where quality meets service. Visit McMinnvilleLawn.com today.
In the news, the city of McMinnville is considering an artificial Christmas tree for the downtown square this holiday season after safety concerns were raised at a recent mayor and board of aldermen meeting. Officials discussed the risk of installing and removing a real tree, including past accidents. A proposal for an artificial tree costing $19,977 was presented as a safer option. Some board members expressed concerns about replacing the real tree, while others suggested planting a live one. A decision will follow at the next meeting. The city is seeking resident input for the Ramsey Park Upgrades project, which includes a new playground, workout area, and other improvements. Residents are encouraged to share ideas to ensure the park meets their needs. Feedback will help create a vibrant space for recreation. Visit the city's website to submit suggestions. With the news, I'm Justin Reed.
Hello, Rhonda Walker here with Citizens Tri-County Bank. If you have mortgage needs and are looking for someone who will work hard for you, please stop by and see me. We offer conventional as well as all types of government loans, VA, FHA, and rural development. And if your work hours make it hard to visit us in person, we have a mobile app we can share with you so you can apply anytime, even nights or on the weekend. Just give us a call and we'll promptly make our mobile app available to you. We are a community bank that cares about personal relationships, and we want to get to know you, whether we do it in person or online. Member FDIC, an equal opportunity lender.
Today, partly sunny and warm with a high near 72. But hold on to your hats. Southwest winds crank up to 20 miles per hour with gusts hitting 35 miles per hour. Wind advisory from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Expect gusts up to 45 miles per hour. So secure those patio chairs, y'all. Tonight, showers and storms roll in before 11 p.m. Then steady rain likely. Temps drop to 38 and winds stay strong. Fun fact, wind can carve rocks into wild shapes. Until next time, keep shining. This is Tisha with your weather.
It's time for Simmons Says, the show that brings Warren County the latest news and stories from around the community. Hosted by Jeff Simmons, this program dives into everything from local events to major headlines. Stay tuned and stay informed.
Hello and welcome to Simmons Says here on WBMC 97.7 FM. And also, thanks to everybody that's joining us on Facebook this morning. And if you're on the WBMC app, we really appreciate that too. You can always download that and get that ready here. I'm trying to get everything situated. If you're watching me on the camera right now, hair's not doing great today. Hair's not doing great today. And Connor, I'm gonna hate to break it to you, yours isn't looking a ton better.
I'm well aware. I woke up late today. And immediately rushed out the door.
What's late for you? Because I felt like I was late today too, and I woke up at 7:45, but I was here by about 8:20.
I woke up at 6:15 and got here by 6:30.
Did we remember deodorant today?
I did remember deodorant today, and live not that far, farther away than I should have to have made it
to be here in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, good. Then did you have any random graps, like alarm clocks or anything that you want to hit off of?
No, because my alarm clocks went off. I just didn't get up. I'm just very thankful that I was either timed shift change perfectly for anyone monitoring traffic that has the ability to write tickets. So
yeah. There you go. We were happy with that. I want to say thanks again to our guests yesterday, Nikki Griffith and Nikki Reynolds and Kristen Griffith. I knew I was I messed it. I didn't mess it up yesterday. Knew I would. The super fans got a lot of comments yesterday. Got a lot of fans. They're obviously very, very, very popular, and we really appreciate them. I think our guest today is going to be just as popular. Franklin Fisher, longtime coach and educator in Warren County. Everybody seems to be very excited about his visit. He will be on after the break here. But on Wednesdays, we got to do Simmons's random gripe. It's spurred some big time debate occasionally. Last week, my dad said after I made my gripe that I hate small cars, that he pointed out that I have driven small cars almost all my life. So.
I almost called you on that. Whenever you said that, I was like, don't you drive like a super compact SUV?
I do. I do. I have a super compact SUV. I've driven a BMW, as he pointed out, and my first car was a Honda Accord that I did drive basically from the back seat. So, yeah, I don't know. He kind of got me on that one. And then, of course, we had the Diet Coke, Coke Zero debate or Diet Coke, Coke Zero gripe that ended up becoming a debate, which ended up becoming a question that I lost on and I've given up on. So, we'll see how this one goes. Because apparently I'll point out a random gripe and everybody will say, you're wrong. And that's okay. I can be wrong.
It's okay.
I mean,
to be
it's still
wrong
it's still my show. I still get to come back and do another one next week. My random gripe this week, buggy put up. Are you helping society? Are you a part of a functioning society? Because I went to the grocery store on Sunday night. I walked back out, and I noticed there's people that just will walk out to their car, put their groceries into their vehicle, and just put their buggy into the spot right beside them. Or they'll just leave it in the front. Or they don't even care where it goes. There's a rack. Go back and put it up. But I think that this is something – I've seen the memes. I've seen all the things that are going on with everything before where they say that this is basically your whole way of knowing whether or not you're going to be a functioning member of society. Because there's no punishment for not doing it. They're not going to come out. They're not going to come write you a ticket and say, hey, you didn't put your buggy up. No one tells you specifically have to do it to get the buggy out. No one's ever going to know except for you. You're going to know when you go home that night, I would not take the extra 10 steps or 20 steps that it took to put that buggy up into a rack. So now somebody else is going to have to do that for me. Come on, people. Let's take the extra 10 steps. Let's take the extra 15 steps. They have those racks everywhere. You're not having to walk it all the way back into the store. If you have to walk it all the way back into the store, I can see in some points. But even then, I'm like, just do it. Because let's be functioning members of society. And I can tell you right now, 100%, I know somebody who does not do this. Connor, do you put your buggy back up?
Occasionally. And if I do put it up, I put it back up upside down.
Upside down.
So
you make it even worse.
Make it even worse.
Or backwards. You try to put it in backwards so when all the other ones will fit in, it fits out. Yeah. You seem like the kind of guy that would purposely find like a really good parking spot that everybody would want and then drop a buggy right in the middle of it. So when everybody turns that corner and says, oh, I got the great spot, and then they go to pull in and there's a buggy sitting in the middle.
I call it petty anarchism. It works.
That's just on brand for you. Yeah. But people, if you're out there right now, let's put those buggies up. Because, I mean, it's not that much effort to go over. You've went inside. You've done all your buggy. You've done all the grocery shopping. They've accommodated you as much as they possibly could. Take 15 seconds to get that back in there. Or, this is why you have kids. Give it to them. Tell them to go do it. I have to do it myself.
Make it a game.
Make it a game. Exactly. I was walking out the other day, and there was a kid pushing it out, and he looked like he was having the best time of his life. I'm like, man, your parents are making you do something they don't want to do. But he was just he was running with it and having a great time.
So if you thought that having a kid was wasting 18 years like I do, just know that you have someone who can put your card up for you.
Put your card up for you for 18 years.
Even as a baby.
Yes. I think they could, by about 3 to 4, I think they can figure it out.
If they don't have it in 6 months, I'm already bored.
And that is your Simmons Random Gripe for Wednesday. When we come back out of break, we're going to have Coach Franklin Fisher joining us. So I'm going to ask him. You think he's a man that puts his buggy back up? I guarantee you. We're going to take a break here on the Simmons Says radio show on 97.7 WBMC. We'll be right back.
This is a story about Billy Joe and Bobby Sue. Two young lovers with nothing better to do.
Make the places you care about more comfortable and energy efficient with TVA Energy Right. It all starts at EnergyRight.com, where you can find everything you need to lower your energy usage for your home or your business. Contact Caney Fork Electric Energy Advisors Dale or Chris at 931-473-3116 or go to EnergyRight.com to start living and working more energy efficiently. Caney Fork Electric along with EnergyRight.com for all your energy needs. Brought to you by Caney Fork Electric Cooperative and TVA.
At Express Motors, we're working hard to reinvent the used car buying experience. For you, that means a transparent deal on only quality inspected cars by our own mechanics. And great extras like free oil changes, free tows, and discounted service after the sale. We are the buy here, pay here car dealership you can trust. So come see us at 352 West Morford Street in McMinnville. Express Motors, where peace of mind and car buying come together. See our inventory now at expressmotorstn.com.
Hi, folks. This is David Mason Simpson. On behalf of myself and my family, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing DM Simpson Realtors and Auctioneers to serve your real estate and auction needs. I also wanted to welcome you to come by and visit our new office at 303 West Main Street in McMinnville. If you don't have time to visit, you can find us online at dmsimpson.com or give us a call at 473-LAND. Remember, we're the friendly folks selling Middle Tennessee and beyond.
Warehouse Discount Grocery, serving McMinnville and Warren County with the best meats, freshest produce, and the best prices on all your favorite groceries. Fresh 80% lean ground chuck family pack, $4.29 a pound. U.S. #1 Idaho potatoes, 8-pound bag, $3.99. Lux beans and peas, 15 ounce, 5 for $5. Be sure to check out the full-service deli featuring meats from Charlie Reserve. Open 7 days a week at 835 Smithville Highway. That's Warehouse Discount Groceries or WDG.
Here at Warren Arts, we see the value in everyone. We want to be a catalyst for positive change in our community. In the last 5 years, we have produced more than 45 live performances and have tapped the creativity of more than 200 volunteers of all ages. See our current schedule of shows and see how you can get involved online at warrenartstn.com. And while you're there, go ahead and purchase your tickets for upcoming shows. You won't want to miss out. Also, make sure you find Warren Arts on Facebook and Instagram to see what all the fun is about.
Oh, why won't this work?
Don't lose your cool. Call Black's Heating and Air for a preseason check-in service on your central air conditioning system. It can increase the life and dependability of your unit while reducing the chances of a very sticky situation.
Unbelievable!
Get that air conditioner checked now.
This is Benny Black.
And this is Seth Black with Black's Heating and Air.
Call today, 931-668-0785.
Benny's slogan at Black's Heating and Air is, once you've had Black, you won't go back.
Mention this ad and you can get a discount.
And I would do anything for love.
Hello, and welcome back to the Simmons Says radio show here on WBMC 97.7 FM. Apparently, Meatloaf would do anything but for love, but I bet he wouldn't put his buggy back up.
Oh, I can guarantee you he would. Like, that's a lot of steps for Meatloaf.
A lot of steps for Meatloaf. And I got to, we're just going to start off right now because we have Coach Franklin Fisher joining us. Coach, we were talking in the comments. I think the debate's more buggy or cart. What do you call it?
I usually refer to it as a cart, but I think I've referred to it as a buggy before. I mean, I've been around for a long time. It changes, you know.
It'll be a grocery receptacle before it's all said and done.
Something like that.
Yeah. No, we've had a couple different people say that we're wrong. I was wrong on this one. Some people say that I'm very right on this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're the kind of guy that puts the buggy back into the whatever little spot they have. What would that even be called? The buggy receptacle place? The buggy stop?
The corral.
The corral. Corral sounds good.
The corral sounds good. I guarantee you're the kind of guy that puts his back every single time.
Oh, yeah, I put it back. It's partially because you're concerned about the person that works there. It's easier for them to get them. But, you know, my luck, somebody leaves it out there, it's going to run into my car. And, I don't like that.
No, I'm the same way. You want those things to be put up where they need to be because, you know, I use the example, too, as I hate when I'm about to get a really good parking spot.
Oh, yeah.
And then you realize why it's the good parking spots because there's a buggy right in the middle of it.
And I will pull up to the buggy. And then I will get out and move the buggy into the cart. And I won't go back. I'll just leave my car. It won't be hanging out completely, but, you know.
Yeah. Or you can always make the other move that if you wanted to. You could just use that buggy.
No, I've done that.
Just take it in with you.
I've done that before, too.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is not why we brought on Coach Franklin Fisher, but I think that clarify, my 5-year-old can't put up a cart, can't stand buggies not being put up. Ben Matheny says. Okay, so he says that if we weren't wrong that we should put them up. He's just saying his 5-year-old cannot handle the job. Connor, you said it's 6 months.
6 months. At 5 years old, I'd find a different one.
Coach, we're going to have to coach up your kid on that one. All right. Well, we got Coach Franklin Fisher here, and I did the research.
Oh, good. Good.
We were educated part of the Warren County school system since 1986.
Right.
And then you retired officially in June 2023 as the Warren Academy principal.
Right.
But you served in a lot of different aspects as an educator, but you were also a coach, football, softball, baseball for a little while, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously volleyball, one that we know about. When you're a Warren County Sports Hall of Famer for your coaching and your accolades as a player, but you were an educator for over 30 years, do you think of yourself as like a coach first, a teacher first, or is that just something that as a leader that they're both kind of linked?
I don't know. I mean, it was mainly just an educator. Mm-hmm. I think when I went to college, I was going to be a lawyer, and I was in poli-sci and political science. And I took about, a quarter of that, and I took a course called Western Civ. And I went to my advisor after the first quarter and said, how many quarters of this mess do I have to take? And he said, you got to take 5 quarters of that. I said, I will be changing my major. Thank you very much. And I changed my major to health ed, PE, and with a history minor. I didn't work on the history minor until I got to middle. But this was at Tech, and I transferred after the first year to middle. But anyhow, funny thing about that is, I said I don't want anything else to do with Western Civ, and then I ended up in Warren County, and they stuck me in the low man on the totem pole, which was world history, and said, if you'll do this for just a couple of years, we'll give you an American history class. I said, okay, sounds good. After 2 years, I realized this is not bad because I know more than these people do because nobody knows anything about world history, and I can embellish it to a certain degree, not totally deviate and falsify, but I can embellish it a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting. And they came back to me 2 years later and said, we got an opening in American history. I said, no, I'll just stay with this. And so I stayed with world history, which was Western Civ, which got me out of poli-sci, which got me out of probably a 6-digit salary for the rest of my life. And I taught that for 28 years until the school system, well, not school system, it wasn't our school system. It was just education in general got to the point where it was more about tests and paperwork and things of that nature. And I said, if I'm going to do all that, I might as well just go into administration. And I had never planned on going into administration. Priscilla Wanamaker told me that I needed to get my EDS and get certified to be an administrator because she said, you're going to be one day. And that was in the mid-'90s. I said, I'll never touch a principal's office. And she said, oh, yeah, you will. And she was right. After 28 years in the classroom and all that stuff happening, I decided that that's the way I needed to go. And I don't know if I did a good job with it, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the teaching aspect of it. I enjoyed dealing with the different things that occurred in the classroom, and I also enjoyed working with the kids from the administrative position, and especially at the academy. Had a great group of people there that I worked with, and those kids, they needed somebody.
Yep.
And it wasn't just me; it was all of us.
Everybody over there. Yeah. You talk about it being an educator and being a leader. Of course, Katie Rogers says, to this day, I still remember his world history lessons, the Ugg and the Wilbur.
Oh, Lord.
So, I will say this much: I'm in the same boat that I remember. I've been. Katie's a little bit younger than me, so she might remember a little bit more. But I remember always talking about peasants.
Oh yeah,
because of the marker and the racer and everybody coming in because the notes were already clearly written up there and things like that. Yeah. But I was going to ask, everybody talks about, the common trope for teachers is they always have to have the movie days or stuff like that when it comes to that. World history doesn't really give you a lot of, I'm going to show this movie and it's really going to be about our lesson plan. I mean, what would there even be a movie that's close? Make Gladiator maybe?
No, man. I always found these, and you probably experienced some of them, those I can't remember what they call the machines, where you just turn the thing on the beep.
Yeah.
And it had the recording go with it, and of course I made everybody take notes while we were doing that. And if you weren't, then I would come after you to a certain degree.
Oh yeah.
But not bad. But now there's not a whole lot of stuff that you could use that again, it's like me being here right now. I'm having to go into teacher mode because I'm old and I don't care, and my vocabulary has diminished into a state where I really, don't want to go. But I can always change it when I was in professional mode. But it just there's just not a whole lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, I was going to say the world history. I know we had the Commodus and all that we talked about, but I don't think that's quite the gladiator version of it. Other than just being a terrible leader, I think.
Yeah,
might have glanced right over that one.
Yeah,
but your visit, History of the World Part 2, says Chad Hatfield. I don't think that one's there. Aaron Blaylock says arrest the S and peasants always every day after practice. Everybody would do that. We knew how that was going to happen. We knew that was going to happen.
Well, that was another bad. No bad thing. My room when I first got to that new high school, because I'd been at the old high school, Coach Ed Cantrell put me in the lobby in a small classroom. Okay, because I was the head football coach at that time, which lasted another 6 months, maybe. And he said, you need access to the gym and to the football locker room and stuff like that, make life easier on you. And so I kept that, and when I took over volleyball, that became our locker room because there was no volleyball locker room. They've got a nice one now. They took over the old girls' basketball locker room. It's really nice, and Blaylock's done a tremendous job. But I would put them in my classroom. I had the tape on the door window, and that's where they would dress and all that sort of stuff and leave their stuff. And so yes, my boards were left exposed to those people. Yeah.
We actually, at one point, did we figure out that you could write with a permanent marker some words, and then if you use the erasable marker over the top of it, it would erase?
Oh, yeah.
So when people were sitting there trying to erase the S and peasants, and all of a sudden, it's like, ha, got you.
Yeah. Well, and see, that started out with somebody pulling a prank where they wrote something on the board with a Sharpie and said, it's going to stay there forever. Coach will never figure out how to get this off. And somebody walked up to me. Of course, I was always listening to my students because they were always smarter than I was anyway, for the most part. And they said, if you'll take that expo marker and just go over the top of that letter, and then take your, eraser, it'll come right. Yeah, came right off. And so I didn't tell anybody that for years. And I would put that permanent marker S in there, and then I'd just sit there and occasionally did you have fun? Trying to erase that off that board? That's nice.
You'd come in and you'd see people with the black on their hands. I know what you've been doing.
I know what you've been doing.
And it did not work. Yeah. Kevin Hobbs said the only bad decision Coach Fisher ever made was having the linemen doing aerobics for conditioning. Coach Fisher is a great human.
Oh, I love it.
That's the only bad decision you've ever made.
Oh, no. There was a lot of bad decisions. A lot of no. Possum. Used to call him Possum because he reminded me of a guy named David Britton, who I played ball with, and his nickname was Possum. And they kind of have that same kind of facial feature, And when I say Possum, I know Sladen Rogers is out there somewhere going, what? But Possum, I took him over to the Civic Center, and I only got like 3 or 4 of them, and only 1 or 2 of them stayed. But we did the aerobics class with the ladies and the tights and all that stuff. And I'm sitting there going, gentlemen, I said, we're going in here to work. You're not going to sit here and stare at people, because it's going to make them uncomfortable. And so I got a bunch of guys, I got 3 or 4 guys in there just closing their eyes, trying to look out to see what the instructors tell them to do. And I don't know if it helped or not, but I figured out agility drills. If you come up with enough agility drills and rope drills, that you can almost compensate for that.
Yeah, I was going to say. You got to be agile. You want to be agile on the field. Yeah. One thing that I was going to ask, and this was actually somebody that sent in a question, said that, what about racquetball? Apparently, racquetball is what you've been doing in retirement. Somebody, I will not believe that you may have lost a game of racquetball.
Well, let's face facts. I hadn't played in like 40 years, and then I got knocked out by a case of pneumonia. Lost like 62 pounds, and I came back to the Civic Center because they had all the machines I needed to get done what I needed to get done to try to put weight, because there was no muscle tissue left on my legs. I was bones, and I couldn't walk real well. So I went in there to do my legs and do my upper body, and then I ended up in the racquetball courts. I found those, I said, because nobody was up there during the time of day I was up there. And I would do agility drills up there trying to get some stamina back and trying to get some coordination back, keep from falling down, because that's the problem. after you spend 8 days in the hospital and you don't, with pneumonia, and they don't know what the pneumonia, if it was pneumonia, and they didn't know exactly what it was, but for a while there, they didn't think I was coming out. But I ended up in that racquetball court, and I was doing agility drills. I said, well, I used to play racquetball, and I said, I'll just bring my old racket up here and a ball, and so I started playing around with it. Ended up actually playing seriously, sort of, and found Pyburn, Mark, and a guy named Rick Stewart, who was out at Gas Baptist, and we would play cutthroat, and it got pretty. But those guys been playing. And they were just natural racquetball players. And Pyburn has coordination like you can't believe. Soft shots, hard shots, the whole 9 yards. My problem is I can't use my right arm to play because my shoulder has no cartilage left in it. The labrum's torn, the rotator cuff's torn, and I don't want to go do that surgery because I've never heard anything positive about that. So I started playing left-handed. Yeah. And Mr. Pyburn didn't mention that the last time we played, which was last week, I think, I played left-handed. He plays left-handed. I beat him left-handed twice.
Oh.
And he beat me twice, right-handed to left-handed.
Oh, okay. So there had to be a little bit of clarification on that.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify that. I didn't want to take the brunt of that.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to clarify a couple other things about Coach Franklin Fisher, who I've been told the man, the myth, the legend, the forever face of Warren County volleyball. So we'll get into that a little bit when we come back from break here on the Simmons Says show on WBMC 97.7 FM.
I can't seem to face up to the facts. I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax.
Talk Radio, WBMC News is next.
Come by Coffee Bank and Trust today and start earning better interest and better cash back on your primary checking account. Pair it with our Better Together Saver account and maximize your earnings. If you want better rates and better returns on your money, stop by and see us today at Coffee Bank and Trust, a division of Coffee County Bank, member FDIC.
Planning a move? McMinnville Moving and Storage has been trusted for over 60 years. Licensed, insured, and offering free quotes. Visit us at McMinnvilleMoving.com today. McMinnville Moving and Storage. Moving your past to your future.
In the news, the city of McMinnville is considering an artificial Christmas tree for the downtown square this holiday season after safety concerns were raised at a recent mayor and board of aldermen meeting. Officials discussed the risk of installing and removing a real tree, including past accidents. A proposal for an artificial tree costing $19,977 was presented as a safer option. Some board members expressed concerns about replacing the real tree, while others suggested planting a live one. A decision will follow at the next meeting. The city is seeking resident input for the Ramsey Park Upgrades project, which includes a new playground, workout area, and other improvements. Residents are encouraged to share ideas to ensure the park meets their needs. Feedback will help create a vibrant space for recreation. Visit the city's website to submit suggestions. With the news, I'm Justin Reed.
Big savings, short month.
Now is the time to buy at Ed Rogers Valley Ford. Get in the new Ford you've been dreaming of. A 2024 Ford Escape, $7,000 off MSRP, just $24,985 after rebate.
Make your escape with the SUV to carry the family and all the necessities, clothes, sports equipment, groceries.
Test drive a new Ford Bronco at Ed Rogers Valley Ford. Power to get the work done. And right now, get up to $19,200 off MSRP. Several Broncos in stock now.
The Ford F-150 is tough, always has been, always will be. Your 2024 F-150 is waiting at Ed Rogers Valley Ford. Save $8,550 off MSRP right now.
Talk about power. Talk about luxury. The Ford Expedition and Expedition Max combines them both. $12,000 off MSRP.
Big savings, short month.
And the clock's ticking, so get to Ed Rogers Valley Ford right now. 111 Auto Lane in Sparta. Or view all the current inventory at EdRogersValleyFord.com.
Big savings now.
Today, partly sunny and warm with a high near 72. But hold on to your hats. Southwest winds crank up to 20 miles per hour with gusts hitting 35 miles per hour. Wind advisory from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Expect gusts up to 45 miles per hour. So secure those patio chairs, y'all. Tonight, showers and storms roll in before 11 p.m. Then steady rain likely. Temps drop to 38 and winds stay strong. Fun fact, wind can carve rocks into wild shapes. Until next time, keep shining. This is Tisha with your weather.
Hello and welcome back to the Simmons Says radio show here on 97.7 FM WBMC. You're the handyman.
Yeah.
You're the handy coach, man. You've been coaching every single thing. We were talking about in the break. I actually left off that you were a basketball coach for a while as well, and then we talked about it. You strength and conditioning. So you've really been tied in to every single team. But as we talked about right before we went to break, that it seems like everybody has put you as the face of Warren County volleyball. And as I mentioned in the break, you retired like 12 years ago from Warren County volleyball, but everybody knows you. Still because of Warren County volleyball. I mean, is that a sense of pride? I mean, what do you think about when people talk about you with such reverence and when it comes to volleyball in town?
I'm proud to be considered that. I mean, to me, the face of Warren County volleyball right now is Erin Blaylock and Bethany Fye, and it was Holly Palumbo until she retired. I think whoever's in charge of that program is the face of the program. I used to refer to myself as the keeper of, because the guys that came in and taught me how to play went to UT, and they came back and taught us how to play for real when I was 13. We play on that asphalt court, and we're playing real volleyball. We're not playing your backyard, slam it, throw it, NBA highlight film stuff. we're actually trying to use the proper techniques, and all those guys are gone. They're not playing anymore. And they stopped playing a long time ago. Except I see them occasionally. Some of them up until about 10 years ago, I'd see them at the Senior Olympics. They'd come in from Knoxville and places like that, and we've had people get injured and people pass away. And so I just always said I'd like to keep it alive. And the league died at the Civic Center when they remodeled it, and it was dying anyway. People just lost interest in it, and I want to teach the younger generation that it's a sport, and I've always said this in most of the clinics I've done. It's a sport that if you do it right and you maintain some type of physical activity, you can play it for as long as you want to play it. I mean, there's the guys playing at the Senior Olympics that are 70, 75 years old, and they're not moving the way they used to, but they're not bad.
I was gonna say it's probably not those 4 foot over the net spikes or anything.
Nobody's going to get the head over the net, and the ball's not going to be coming at you at 65, 70 miles an hour anymore.
Yeah, no Ben Stiller moments where you get smashed in the nose or anything off a spike or anything like that. But still, pretty high level skill. The hands, the coordination, stuff like that doesn't change. We were talking about that. You said we talked about all the coaching you've done, and of course, you grew up, you played sports. You went to Tech. You ended up at MTSU. You were the great, James Boots Donnelly there. You were coaching the Pioneer football team at one point. But then you cross over to girls' sports. You end up coaching softball. You end up coaching basketball, as you said. Of course, you coached 18 years, won 343 games with girls volleyball. What was it about your personality and just you in general that just fit so well with girls' sports?
I don't know. I think it started out, as far as teaching is concerned, I started out with the Red Cross swimming lessons when I was like 9. A friend of mine said, hey, let's go over to the city pool at night. They'll let you teach, be a swimmer's aide or teacher's aide for about 3 hours, and then you can swim for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes afterwards. Yeah. And I said, oh, that's cool. So I did that, and it hooked me up with a lady named Patty Nunley, and I stayed with her as far as the swimming lessons were concerned. I was a lifeguard too. She taught me into doing a lifeguard situation because she said you can make more doing that than hauling hay. And I'm telling you all this is to tell you that she was a Girl Scout leader. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so she ran Girl Scout camps, and she got me certified to be a canoeing instructor and to actually go to a camp in Ashland City, which is Sycamore Hills, I had to become a certified Girl Scout, card carrying.
There you go.
All right. So anyhow, got up there and walked on the place that, I'm going to be up there for 2 weeks, and there's this girl down there teaching some type of thing at the pool, like I think it was that synchronized swimming stuff where they go upside down, all that sort of stuff. And,
stuff that you and I cannot do.
Yeah. And so she was attractive, and I talked to her, and she said she needed an album for her sound to go underneath the thing, and it was the Rocky theme album. So I drove to Nashville, got that thing, brought it back. And that girl's sitting out at the house right now. Well, I think she's gone out to town already. But, I tell people I met my wife at the Girl Scout camp, and they think, as a counselor, and they're going, "Oh, Fisher, you got to be kidding me." I said, "No, she was a counselor too, man." All right.
Come on, don't assume the worst here.
So anyhow, what I'm saying is I've been around females all my life. I mean, at one point in time at my house, it was my wife, the 2 kids, both girls, and the cat. And they're all females. I'm outnumbered, So I just assumed that was the direction I was supposed to go. Plus, I told that story at the Hall of Fame bank. Tried to talk at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That one night after a middle school football game, after I'd retired from being the head coach, I was working with Bobby Cox at the middle school, and I had my daughter, and I took her up after pregame because my wife was working late, and I put her in the car, and I looked in the car, and I said, I got 2 daughters. And football was not. I mean, I was a good assistant. I had great players. I mean, as an offensive line coach, I mean, Possum was one of them. Mike Smith, all I could name them all. Bert Sinks and all those guys. But I realized right then, I said, I got 2 daughters, and I'm not leaving Warren County because I thought I was going to leave Warren County to go coach college football. Because Coach Donnelly had told me I'd come here for a while, and he'd find me someplace. And I said, no, I'm going to stay here. And I'm going to coach that and one of the main reasons was we had a great babysitter. Her name was Brenda Rigsby, and she was just amazing. And when you have kids, you realize that you make sacrifices in that direction. So I learned how they think, and I learned how not to make them mad. And what it is you just need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so before you bring anything up in front of those people, you just had to be knowledgeable. And if you're knowledgeable, then they'll run through a wall for you.
I've kind of found that out myself. Here
yes, I figured you had,
Yeah, but I was going to say you got the CSAS cert. I mean, you've been in
yeah, but I got the Warren County volleyball.
The Warren County volleyball, closer to his heart.
Exactly.
Yeah, closer to his heart. You've been. How's that experience been? Because I mean, you got to go to state for what is it, 3 years in a row?
3 years.
You got to coach with Brandon Lowry, a guy that you coached him when he was a baseball player,
and football player,
and then all of a sudden now he's coaching. You're helping him. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was wonderful. I mean, it's like Don said on the comments. It's like family. I mean, I coached him, and then I got Katie Wanamaker, Katie Rogers, and on the team, and she said her uncle was coaching, and he had called me and down to CSAS, and this is back in the 2000s, early 2000s, and I said, we'll go down and scrimmage them, and so we went down there and scrimmaged them, and I'm a very calm person on the sidelines, and I'd squat down at the end of the court and 6 feet away from the court and watch what was going on. So I looked down at the other end of the court, and Lowry's down there, and Lowry's he's all over it. And I'm sitting there going, he's got all kinds of energy. And his girls are not nearly as informed as mine because they haven't been playing it as long as mine have. And I said, I got to do something. So Lowry made me bring my tempo up back in that day. And if he, I was to the point where I was kind of shutting down a little bit. And it was Mary Kate's, junior year or sophomore year, something like my oldest daughter. And I said, I looked at him and used him as an example. So I respected him, always respected him. But at that point on, he basically turned my point of view or revitalized my efforts as far as coaching was concerned. And so when I retired, when I retired from volleyball, I went down there and did clinics for him and for some other people. And after the final retirement, retired from volleyball, when final retirement from the academy, he said, well, you're not doing anything. Why don't you come coach down here? And I said, I don't want to. I'm not moving to Chattanooga. He said, no. He said, you just got to come down a couple times a week. I said, a couple times. Well, just for the big games. I said, what about practice? He said, no, don't worry about that. 4 times a week average. I could not do that.
You could not.
And he kept telling me, he said, why are you here? Yeah. He said, I don't need you today. He said, I mean, I need you, but, you don't have to be here. And I said, you don't understand. This is it. If I'm going to go, because you taught me, if I'm going to go, we're all in. And so, he gave me an opportunity to go someplace where I couldn't go, not because I didn't have great girls here and great talent. I mean, there were. I mean, I just never urged or made it mandatory, and we don't down there, for them to play club ball. And all those girls play club ball because there's it's A5 is a group, Scenic City is a group, Vortex out of Atlanta is a group, and everybody we had playing for us last year, except for maybe 2 girls, were were club players. Now, one of them that I really respected didn't play club, but she had such insight. I mean, we didn't know she was going to play this year. And she played for me on JV last year, and she came back, and she played like 4 different positions for us and basically helped us. Because on paper, we lost everything. Yeah. Not everything. We had several young players coming back and some really good players. And one of them, big, tall, middle, Savannah Moore, she made All-State. But it's going to be tough to get back to state. We were going to win the district, and we probably going to win the region. But to get back to the state through sectionals, through South Green or North Green, it didn't look. And they pulled it together and took us back for the 3rd year in a row. And then Lowry decided he's going to follow Alex on his basketball adventures, and he said, I don't think I got enough time for this anymore. And so I said, you retire, I retire. Yeah.
I'm going to knock you down trying to get out the door behind.
Yeah, it's a package deal, brother. We're gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, a great run that y'all had there. And, of course, like you said, you went to state 3 straight times and won a game in each year.
We
state tournament.
Finished 5th every time.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a huge – just an extra accomplishment and an extra thing to go there. And I think, like you said, I'm sure it was extra special to be able to do it with Brandon and still have that local tie, even though you're down in Chattanooga. Kristen Blackburn Griffith says it takes a special man to coach girls. I think you had some. Yeah, you watched Kristen and Nikki on here yesterday.
Yeah, I watched them. I watched the video that Carden put up.
Oh yeah,
that was great. I loved it. And hey, like I said, I told you during the break, I'm pretty sure that Blackburn. Griffith. I'm pretty sure we tried to recruit her for volleyball, and if not, I thought she had some time in volleyball, but maybe I was wrong. I knew her from school. She was in class in one of my classes. Great kid, good athlete. But I thought we had a connection there in volleyball somehow or another, but I may be wrong. But Griffith, I told you during the break, I said, I coached Griffith. Yeah, and when I was pretending to be a post coach, and she was pretending to be a post player, although she was a good post player. She may have weighed about 120, she may not even weigh 100 pounds, but she would get in there and she would fight. And I beat him every day with an air shield, and somebody said, why did you end up coaching basketball? I said, because a guy named Cannon, what was his first name? It was Lynn,
or Jimmy?
Jimmy Cannon. Yeah, Jimmy. I remember his wife because I worked against her, and she was a coach of volleyball. I learned a lot from her as far as coaching volleyball was concerned. Jimmy looked at me and said, I lost an assistant. I'm going to lose that supplement. I need you to coach basketball. I said, Jimmy, I don't know nothing about basketball. He said, I'll tell you everything. I'll show you the drills, and we'll work through this. And I'm going, that's great. We got the first day of practice. Jimmy, where are you? He's down at the other end with the guards. And I'm going, what am I? So I just started teaching them how to pass pro backwards because I'm an old offensive line coach. And what is posting up? It's basically hands out like this, and you got your butt on somebody, okay? Instead of you got them in front of you, you're backing them out. And Nikki would, and Lindsay Cornelius, and Vanessa Cornelius, and Andrea Tinsley. I mean, we had a bunch of girls that would just knock your block off, and violent people. And so that's why I got the air shield. I said, well, if you're going to be violent and I'm going to have to work you, this is what we're going to do. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, Chrissy Allison says one of the best coaches ever. Love Coach Fish. And Katie Rogers says, rule number 11, Coach. I'm going to take a break. We're going to take a break. I want to get back to what rule number 11 is here on the Simmons Says radio show here on 97.7 WBMC.
Sympathy, I don't mind, 'cause you mean that much to me. Ain't you proud to beg?
It's the Ben Lomond Security Red Alert Special. Grab a free combination smoke, heat, carbon monoxide detector with your new Ben Lomond Security service. This is close to a $200 value for free. When anything is detected, the combo detector triggers all other detectors audibly and visually in the system to quickly alert your family or coworkers. Feel more secure at home or the office knowing that Ben Lomond Security works around the clock for you. For a free quote and design layout, contact your local Ben Lomond Connect office or visit benlomondconnect.com. Some exclusions may apply. License number 1560.
Are you looking for a new vehicle? Come see us today at Auto World on Manchester Highway for a selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Mike Breedlove can help you find the right vehicle at the right price. We have quick and easy, guaranteed financing to make your car buying process simple. You buy your car here, pay your bills right here in the office with our friendly staff. We are open 6 days a week. Call Auto World 815-8820 and let Mike help you find the vehicle you've been looking for.
Why don't you head over to Chicken Chef and enjoy a fresh made-to-order meal, or choose from the all-time favorite like the Chicken Nugget Dinner. Stop in for breakfast, order right off the menu with sausage, gravy, fresh homemade biscuits, or try their delicious tenderloin, egg, and cheese biscuit, just to name a few. Whatever your taste buds call for, you're sure to find it at Chicken Chef. They've been serving Warren and surrounding counties for over 40 years. Stop in today, Chicken Chef on the Strip in McMinnville. You can call your order in to go at 473-5020.
Where can you go to spend some quality up-close and personal time alone with none other than 3 Star Cinema? Head over to the most affordable and convenient place in town featuring the latest releases fresh on the silver screen. 3 Star Cinema.
Now showing Mickey 17, rated R. Captain America, Brave New World, rated PG-13. Novocaine, rated R. Last Breath, rated PG-13. And Paddington in Peru, rated PG.
Sparta Street, McMinnville. 3 Star Cinema, where the stars come out at night.
Discover the Warren County Senior Center, located in the 3-Star Mall on Sparta Street. Our center offers a vibrant space for seniors to engage in fun activities, make new friends, and stay active in the community. Open Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. We offer a variety of services tailored just for older adults. Join us and be a part of a supportive, lively community. Call 931-473-6559 for more information. See you soon.
Hello, this is Rhonda Walker at Citizens Tri-County Bank. The Welcome Home program is back and becomes available to borrowers beginning March 3rd. If qualified, there is a $20,000 grant that can be used as a down payment on the purchase of a new home. The funds are limited and are available on a first-come, first-served basis, and that is why I'm talking about it now. If you're in the market and could use some down payment assistance, start looking and be prepared to write up a contract on March 3rd to be sure you get your share of the grant money. Come see me at the bank and we'll talk about securing these funds for you. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Talk Radio WBMC McMinnville, 960 AM and 97.7 FM. WBMCRadio.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Simmons Says radio show here on WBMC 97.7 FM. I am joined by the Warren County Sports Hall of Famer, Coach Franklin Fisher. Coach, I mean, you're the man. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the comment section is blown up. I mean, people are talking about you in the comments all the time. Though we got a bunch of questions. We might have to go OT. to get all these questions here. You said you're retired. So
I'm retired. Whatever you need to do, man.
Yeah, good. Well, I have one question that I wanted to ask you, and I think this is both as an educator and as a coach. You know, you seeing potential in people. In the classroom and in sports, you've had so many former pupils, yes, get into coaching. I mean, you had Rogers that ends up going in there, Palumbo. I mean, I know you know him as their original, and Blaylock. I mean, even a guy like me, it seemed like at some point you had a hunch that you're like, he's going to end up coaching or doing something like that. What is it, or how fulfilling is it as a teacher or as a coach when you see people start reaching the potential that you probably saw in them, but maybe they didn't even see in themselves?
Oh, it's always great. I mean, you're happy for them, and like you said, they've got the potential. You can see it, especially if leadership on the court, whether it's verbal or whether it's don't lead by action or things of that nature, or just their perspective or insight into what's going on around them, being able to see outside the envelope. That lets you know that they're going to do something, unless something horrendous happens. They're going to make a successful situation out of what they're doing. But No, it's always a good feeling to see that success. I mean, for you, example, Upton and I, we tried to talk you the first year or 2 years you were in sports over at Southern Standard. We kept telling you we need another coach over here, man, and said you had so much insight as far as that was concerned. We tried to talk you into it, and we knew somewhere down the line that you'd end up coaching in. Now you've validated that suspicion.
I've joined the ranks
Yes,
over the last couple of years, and it's exactly what you kind of told me it would be, which is going to be challenging, but it's going to be fulfilling at the same time. And I think the point that you really helped me with this a lot, and I've asked you questions over and over again. People are asking me some of the stuff. The one thing that I talked about with you was when does it change from like you get that mentality, because when you have that competitive mentality, then you kind of just start seeing things as chess pieces, and you're trying to move them around. And then you told me that'll end quick, because you'll start realizing that part of it pales in comparison to the relationship part of it.
Yeah,
and I think that was something that you really helped me with it all. Is like, hey, get the relationships, and then you'll end up having the X's and O's will follow. Because like you said before, once you have that relationship and once you have that connection, they'll run through a wall for you. Yeah. And I think that's been something that's very, very obvious from all the teams that you've coached. And fortunately, I think I've had some kids that that have done the same for me, and I really appreciate that. But it is interesting to see how is there a certain thing that you see that you're like, that's going to be a coach, that's going to be a leader someday?
Hey, like I said, I don't think so. I think maybe just again, their attitude on the field, on the floor, their attitude during practice. If they're the kid that will push on through, because I hate practice as bad as anybody else, and that's one of the reasons why we used to play a lot of scrimmage games or early season games against people like Cannon County and Van Buren County. They don't have the numbers that we have, and they don't have the probably at that point in time in volleyball they didn't have the talent we had in Grundy County. But they did eventually, and what we were doing was we were practicing against them and actually calling it games, and it would give us a chance to run a bunch of different stuff, but it also exposes them to a different level of play. And so rather than practice, we did that. So I didn't like practice. So if you can find a kid that will sit there and bust it through practice, and totally focused, and of course we're gonna have fun. I mean, it's like you're playing the Temptations there. Back during my practices, we're playing the Drifters, we're playing the Temptations, we're playing people like that because of the rhythm of what they play. Their music is the tempo in which I want you to move. Yeah. I mean, they said, well, that's slow, easy music. I said, no, it's continuous, and there's continuity to what they're doing. And I said, if you get too fast in volleyball, you make mistakes. If you're too slow in volleyball, you make mistakes.
So yakety yak wasn't flying in there.
No, yakety yak wasn't flying in there. Now, pregame, if they were just walking around, they could play some stuff. But no, I wasn't much into that, though.
Well, I was going to say, you did always seem like you had it's interesting in the sense that I think that a lot of people would think of you and think of intensity. But when I watched you on the sidelines over the years, I thought it was a controlled aggression, maybe would be a better way to say it.
That's exactly
But
right.
I think the one thing that you always told me is that they pick up on your energy.
Yeah.
So if you're over there and you're going crazy, or you are losing it on an official or something like that, they're going to start doing the same thing. Oh, yeah. And you want to try to calm them down, but if you can't have them to be calm if you're not calm.
Well, and that's what and all this stuff, you make me sound like some kind of guru. All this stuff I learned from a lot of different people. I mean, Bill Albaugh in Tullahoma was great. He won numerous districts down there. Lynn Cannon down in Sparta. And then just everybody. I mean, all the coaches I worked for and with, you learn from them. And so eventually you figure out stuff. I figured out something from the very get-go that if I panic, if I look like I'm panicking on the sidelines, what you're talking about, then they panic. They're looking at me. He knows this sport. He's been in this sport for 30, 40 years, whatever it is when I was coaching him. If he's panicking in this situation, I'm going to panic in this situation.
Yes.
And so all I did was realize somewhere along the lines that you just can't panic. Now you can yell at them, and I forewarned my players, and I did it this past year in CSAS. We were playing in the district championship, and we were playing against CSLA, which was a top school down there, and they should have been in the state too. And we'd beaten them every time we played them. It's a relatively new program, but they were good from the get-go because of all the club stuff. And I told those girls, I said, somewhere down the line, I actually told them last year, somewhere down the line, I'm going to be really calm. I'm going to be just me. I said, somewhere down the line, I'm going to yell, and it's going to be horrendous. And you do not respond to it. I said, it may be at you, but it's to distract the opponent. Little girl hit left side for CSLA. She hit a cut shot. My offside hitter did not cover the zone she was supposed to cover. And she did, but she couldn't get the ball, so I lost it on purpose. And I yelled, stop, and everybody in the gym got quiet. And I started yelling at her and telling her what to do. And the little girl that hit the ball, I caught her outside of my eye, and she was wide-eyed, and she's looking at me because, I said, you stop whatever every time she goes up, she's going to hit that angle. She's going to hit the 4, which is a segment of the court. Yep. I said, you've got to cover that. And I don't want to see that go through there again. And I said, get the block up and take the angle away. And so the little girl who was one of their best hitters never hit another ball in bounds. Yeah. And I looked at Lowry and I said, I think I broke her.
Well, I hate to break into that story. We're going to go into OT with it, but we do have to end the radio segment of this on WBMC 97.7 FM. Stick with us on Facebook Live. We'll be on OT with Coach Franklin Fisher, and we're going to have him tell us a couple more stories about breaking opponents. All right, thank you so much, Coach, and thanks to everybody that was listening on WBMC 97.7 FM. Catch us on OT on Facebook.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
Darling, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go?
All right, we're back in OT real quick. That was some space age. I didn't know where we were going there.
I didn't, yeah.
Yeah, well, you were talking about, before with the break, talking about, having some planned aggression or things like that. But we have a couple of questions we got to get to. And maybe did you learn that strategy from Boots Donnelly? Or what did you learn from Boots Donnelly? Because Brian Kale has asked. We need a Boots Donnelly story from Franklin Fisher. Now, and also, as long as you can tell them on air.
Yeah. What I learned from Boots Donnelly, Coach Donnelly, was basically, toughness. I mean, I don't think I was very tough until I got exposed to him, and then I went through his first year at Middle, his off-season conditioning, where we went from like 143 players down to went from 165 players down to 43 players and still had a spring game. And I'm sitting there going, yeah. I learned that from him. I also to be analytical and details and things of that nature. As far as the distracting the opponents, you kind of get that from being an offensive line coach. You're going to run the ball to the right side, you might pull a double guard to the left side, and just a little. As Paul Willis referred to last week, little eye candy for the linebackers. So they're reading the wrong way, and you come back the other way with a trap of some sort. But it's like I said, I've learned from a lot of different people. One of my favorite stories, just real quick,
go ahead.
Is
we're in OT now. We can go as long as we want.
Yeah, to break the other team. And this was unintentional. Okay, I'm wearing my little flip phone. We're at Sparta. It's a crucial game. We're beating Sparta, okay? And I'm sitting there, and I've called a timeout, or they called a timeout. I think they called a timeout because we were beating them by about, 7-8 points. And they could always come back. It's Sparta, they can do it. And all of a sudden, I forgot to turn my phone off, and my phone starts ringing. And the ringtone is my girl. the Temptations, and it's on loud. And I go to reach.
Talk Radio, WBMC News is next.
I go down to reach to turn it off, and I look, and my team is dancing in the huddle. And I'm looking down at Sparta, and Sparta is not looking at their coach anymore. They're looking at my team dancing in an important district game. And I'm sitting there going, just let it play. Just let it play. I mean, and I, finally we went back out there and finished it, but they didn't. Sparta was done. See the other team. I mean, bad enough you have to call a timeout. But if the other team's dancing to their coach's ringtone, no, it's over. It's over.
Never had like a YMCA or anything like that.
No, I don't do YMCA.
We that actually happened in one of ours that we were playing. We were playing at at another team's event or at another team's home gym. We came out of a timeout on a sideline or a baseline out of bounds play, and they had been playing YMCA on the break, and we were winning, but we hadn't put it away yet. And our girls just on the court doing the YMCA. It was the exact same scenario.
Oh, yeah.
So, the other team walked out. They're like, why are they not taking this serious? And it was the best we've ever run that play.
Oh, yeah.
Scored it, and all of a sudden the other team, you could tell they were just like, they were broken.
Yeah.
Completely broken. Candace Rowland says, Coach Fisher's dedication, passion, and leadership inspired so many. He saw potential when others see limits, pushed boundaries when others hesitate, and taught reliance in the face of challenges. Beyond the wins and losses, he shaped character, instilled confidence, and created a culture of hard work and unity. Your athletes have carried your lessons far beyond the court, lessons of perseverance, teamwork, and believing in themselves when it mattered most. Coach Fisher, I thank you for leading, inspiring, and making a difference. Your impact is greater than you know. Spoken like a daughter of a writer.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just, I don't know, speechless on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate Candace. We appreciate that. And also appreciate. Hey, we should say Dale Stubblefield, the guy that did a lot for the volleyball program back in the day, and still probably would love to be involved in it as much as he probably could. And I know he's got the granddaughters now, and before all is said and done, one of them will probably be playing volleyball. I would assume.
Yeah, his oldest daughter was a setter for me. It's probably probably has the third most sets in the history of the program, and she went on to play for Cumberland. But Stubb was one of the guys that learned from the guys that came back from UT, and then he went to UT, and he played on their volleyball team, and of course it was a club team, but it was official. I mean, they played SEC.
Yeah,
he was freshman of the year, setter, and I mean, dude could set, and of course that linked him in even more to the sport. So
yeah. Well, I was gonna say he's an underrated athlete.
Yeah.
I give him a hard time every now and then, but he's very big into sports. I know he's big into sports. He's kind of like you as well. Has the daughters that were in the game, now has granddaughters that are in the game. So I mean, I know he's very passionate about girls sports in Warren County.
Yeah, Stubb and I grew up together. I mean, I many a day. In the front yard catching Stubb because Stubb thought he was a pitcher, and I thought I was a catcher. All I was a walking bruise after that was over with. But I'm playing basketball on his back porch. I mean, yeah, we kind of grew up together. He's kind of like a little brother.
Yeah.
And, of course, I told you before during the break at a particular time that volleyball doesn't exist if we don't get some publicity. And a lot of places they don't look at female sports. And thanks to Stubb and Rob and you, I think that has as much to do with us being a significant program and drawing interest of new players. Y'all did just a phenomenal job. Yeah. And I hate to say that about Rob because Rob gives me a hard time.
Well, I just kind of learned from watching them, and then when I took it over, I was telling you during the break, it's the same thing. It's just I've been lucky that once I started covering sports in 2010 up to now that it just seems like there's always been a pretty good or multiple pretty good girls sports programs, and it's you kind of look foolish not to ignore it.
Right.
I mean, Wilmore had his great run of soccer, and maybe he's about to set up another one.
Yeah,
you're not getting any ideas from Wilmore coming back, are you?
No, I saw him the other day. He was playing pickleball with his wife, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I just got to do it." And I think he's got ulterior motives. And of course, the thing about this place is if you can't find somebody local to take some of these jobs, nobody's going to come in and take them.
Yep.
And so he's like me. He's going to make sure that program survives. And if he has to do it for a year or for 5 years, whatever he can do, he's going to do it.
Yeah, I think so. Heather, I never know how to say her name now. Heather Benaki.
Benaki?
You know who it is.
Yeah.
You know who it is. Says Coach Fisher is one of the best coaches. He's a core part of so many memories through my middle school and high school memories. Yeah. I mean, you've touched a lot. Drew Walker, I've never had a coach as a coach or a teacher, but he is always kind and helpful to all students and athletes. You're a great guy and Coach Fisher.
I see, and then from the radio part of it,
yeah, Jay
and Jeff,
yeah,
always, and Jeff was always. I mean, you know how I used to fax you the information about the games?
Mm-hmm.
I would fax it, same thing, to Jeff, and Jeff would always keep up with it and always make sure it got on the air. So,
oh, yeah, Jeff.
And Drew was, Drew would always bring me in once a year or twice a year to do some interviews and and give us some attention as far as the sport and my girls were concerned.
Well, Katie Rogers said that we have to talk about this. There is a dent in the door at Red Bank High School. Auxiliary gym?
Yeah.
Is there a story behind this?
Yeah, there's a story. Okay. So anyhow, we're playing at what's called the Chattanooga Choo Choo. It's a celebrated tournament. At least it used to be. It's beginning to deteriorate. It used to be at Red Bank and at East Ridge, and they would play them at these two places, and we would go down there every year. And I went down there because the main gym at Red Bank was air conditioned, and the auxiliary gym was not. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this is August. All right. And I knew that was one of those things that we have to fight through this. We fight through this. We can fight through anything type deal. It's kind of like me doing my preseason workouts in the old middle school gym before they got air conditioning. I would run them upstairs and agilities and push-ups and weightlifting because I said, if we can handle the heat right here when we go to somebody's air-conditioned gym, and occasionally we have to play volleyball in that gym at the middle school because they've pre-scheduled something else at the high school. I said, somebody's in for a really bad day.
Yep.
But where was I going with this?
Oh, the dent in the
the dent in the door. So anyhow, we're in those. I knew we were going to be in those gyms, and so we play for pool situations on Friday night, and then Saturday we're going to play against top teams in the state on Friday night, and they're going to put us in a pool that's going to put us in the auxiliary gym on Saturday, and so we go in there and we're playing Sparta. And I've got a gentleman in the chair. He's the R1, the referee in the chair, and he's not fluent in English. Good official, okay? But I'm having a hard time communicating with him. And all of a sudden, we're playing Sparta, and a ball comes rolling because the court's tight. Ball comes rolling into the court. My line judge goes over and grabs the ball and tosses it back, and the girl from Sparta hits the ball out of bounds. And the guy in the chair looks at my line judge who wasn't watching because he was throwing the ball back, and my line judge says, it was in. And I looked at the dude, and I said, dude, it was out. You're in a chair. He was getting after a ball. You should be able to see that. No, it was in. And I went, you got to be kidding me. So I walked over, and I yelled a couple times. I walked over to this, the solid metal doors that are in old gyms, and I headbutted that sucker. I headbutted with everything I had. And I heard a woman up in the stands, because all they had were stands upstairs, from Sparta go, do it again. And I went, ugh. I said, not on your life. So, I didn't think anything about it. And after we got through, we beat Sparta, because probably scared my team, scared me. I probably had a concussion. I walked over, and somebody walked to me and said, Coach, you need to go look at that door. And I went, what? And I went over there, and it's an old door. Nobody's going to pay, nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
And there's a dent in it. I got a picture on my phone of that door, and it's got a dent in it. It should not be there, and I probably going to suffer more senility later because of that. But, yeah.
I think you should buy that door.
Is
it still in use? If it is, I would just say, hey, can I have that door?
When I was driving Katie down, when she became the head coach, I drove the bus for him, and I drove him down there, and I went over to that school because the middle school, they built a new middle school behind Red Bank, and that's where they played those second-tier games, and the first tier was still in the big gym, and the auxiliary gyms were still there, but, they didn't use them for anything, except for PE probably. So I managed to find my way in there, walked down a hall, and got down there, and that door was still there and still had the dent in it. And I'm going, oh, geez. But, yeah.
Oh, mercy. Well, there were a couple different Brandon Lowry got in the comment section.
Oh, no.
And he said, you got a couple different questions that I have to ask. Says, number 2 is the real reason he helped me coach was to get access to a free trainer.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I have an ammonia cap dependency. Because when I was coaching football, and you've seen these guys. I mean, I can't remember who was doing it in NFL or something. You just pop ammonia cap and you just yeah. And so I would always ask the trainer. I said, "Hey, you got any ammonia caps?" And she go, "What?" And I said, "Smelling salts." She said, "No." I said, "What's wrong with you?" And then I would come in and say, "My shoulder hurts," and all that sort of stuff. And I always like to have a trainer. I gave Trainer Tim the same problem when he was here.
Well, his first question says, ask him, does he know the difference from a cucumber and a pickle? And I'm assuming there's a backstory to this.
Oh, I don't even know. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It has to do with we were playing the district region or something, and we had the first game, and then we were going to play the third game. Mm-hmm. And they put a little, parents put a little thing out there for sandwiches and carrots and things of that nature for our kids to, not stuff themselves, but have a little something to eat. And one of our girls went off on, she wasn't eating no cucumbers, and somebody kept trying to tell her it was pickle, or it was just a long story, and she couldn't discern between the two, and made a big deal out of it, and she was a character and a half anyway. So I can't even go into half the stories on her. You'd have to talk to him about her.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to bring it, but yeah. So we. Drew Walker says football players use those smelling salts all the time. Better not get caught off guard when they have those in their hands. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I could see. I'm the same. Well, I don't like pickles or cucumbers, but I could. But if someone's sitting there so adamant that they will only eat a cucumber but won't eat pickle, and you're sitting there like,
I think that's the story. Now, if you get Lowry on here somewhere down the line, then you need to bring that one back up, or I'll try to tune in and let you know that you need to ask him about that.
Yeah, well, I'll let you close this out with answering the one comment that Katie Rogers said, and it's rule number 11, Coach. Tell us rule number 11.
Rule number 11 is when the job is done, walk away. And I added on to that, don't look back. I think that might be part of it too. I think when the job is done, walk away and don't look back. And unfortunately, when I walked away in 2013, I kept looking back, and I couldn't just leave the program, and nobody was going to take it. And I knew Katie Rogers was somewhere down the line, and because she had done student teaching somewhere, and she had sat on the bench with me a couple of times with Upton and I. And so I came back and helped Dina first year. Then Dina did it herself the second year and had a better record than I did. And then Dina was ready to give it up because her daughter graduated, and Katie came in. And so I drove the bus for Katie and for Bethany when Bethany was playing Phi. And so I told her, I said, when this season's over, I'm the Cheshire Cat. All you're going to see is a smile, and then it's going to go poof. And I said, rule number 11, when the job is done, walk away and don't look back. And unfortunately, I just kept looking back.
Yeah. Well, for today, rule number 11 applies. I think you've done all you can. The job is done. So we'll let you walk away. Coach, thanks so much for joining us here on the Simmons Says radio show. I really appreciate it. We've had a great time, and I hope you've had a good time with it too.
Oh, yeah. I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Fans, appreciate y'all. We're going to be done. We'll be back on the Simmons Says show at 9 a.m. on WBMC 97.7 FM in the morning. See y'all.
Love was out to get me. That's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. And then I saw her face.